Welcome back, viewers. Before going to break, we were talking about Mr. Meher Bose. We were talking about Prime Minister of India's visit to Dhaka, Bangladesh government's concerns, expectations, and how things can be best resolved. I would like to go back to Mr. Meher Bose, and he is kind of an expert on sports, particularly on the subcontinent, and he has written several books on football and probably a couple of books on Manchester United, a comprehensive study of history of Indian cricket. And how is it that Indian cricket, cricket has become an identity that is identified with India today?
It's a remarkable story. I mean, obviously, like all these sports, they were taken by the British to the subcontinent when the British ruled the subcontinent. They also took football, and football is immensely popular, not just in India, but it's immensely popular throughout the subcontinent. And Vivekananda, who was a great man of India, he once advised his fellow Hindus that if you want to get strength, forget the Bhagavad Gita, play football. You know, those were his words. So football is very popular, and of course we are talking in the wake of the Argentinian team having played in Kolkata and then in Dhaka. So football is immensely popular, and I know that in fact. But what has happened with cricket is very interesting. Cricket is a very odd international game. Domestic cricket does not work anywhere. If you go to county cricket in this country, you know, the old saying is there are two old men and a dog, and even that probably is a bit of an exaggeration. You know, there's only a dog there. You know, domestic cricket doesn't work. International cricket works. And because in India there is a rising middle class, they are prepared to pay television companies money to see cricket, and that has brought the money in, and that has changed the game. And the Indians have also discovered a domestic form of cricket which has married cricket to Bollywood. In fact, it has converted cricket into a 3-hour Bollywood film.
Entertainment.
It starts at 8:30 in the evening, finishes at 11:30, 20 overs each side. Bollywood actors and actresses even own some of the cricket teams. There are pom-pom girls who dance and all sorts of things, blonde pom-pom girls on the edge of the boundary and things like that. And it is like going to the movies. In the old days, you went to the movies at 9 o'clock in the evening and came out at 12. Now you go to a cricket match at 8:30 and come out at 11. And the Indians have done this, and they have moved. And this is a remarkable situation, which has never happened with any other sport. They have moved a major sport like cricket from the control of the European powers to the subcontinent.
But most Puritans would think that probably that's against the spirit of cricket. See, because cricket was considered a gentleman's game. On a lazy afternoon in village green, you play that, and then you go home happy. No, it didn't matter who won, who lost. You see.
Well, that was the old idea, but I think sport has changed. Mind you, you could say during this test series that India had with England, not a very good one for the Indians. They got absolutely badly thrashed. They fared worse than Bangladesh did last year against England, one must say. Bangladesh performed much better. That during that match, if you remember, there was a run-out incident where the Indians had got a run-out decision against an English batsman, Ian Bell, and then it was pointed out that while they had technically got it correct, morally it was not good. And Mahendra Singh Dhoni played a sort of Indian cricketing Mahatma Gandhi and withdrew the appeal, and Ian Bell carried on. So if you like, the moral purpose came in. But let's face facts. Sport, and particularly sports like cricket, where there's a lot of money now, brings players who can recognize and see that they can make money. You know, sport has become not just a recreational activity. It is now a business that generates money. People, ordinary people like you and me, we pay for it in many ways. Television companies pay for it, they televise it, and therefore it generates money. And I think the old principles of sport are something that you bring out for the public occasion. But privately, it's a business and meant to be run as a business.
Is the number of television in India, is that a reason for its popularity, or?
Well, I tell you what has happened. India was very late coming to television. When I was growing up in India in the 60s, we didn't have any television. I came to this country in January 1969, and I had seen 2 minutes of television on a holiday to Delhi. India had no television. India only got television in the 70s, and proper sort of satellite television of the sort of channels, like the channel that we are broadcasting on, that came in only in the 80s. So if you like, television has only come to India in the last 20 years, and with that has come a lot of televised sport.
But it has caught on, isn't it?
It has caught on immensely, and not only is cricket being televised in India, in the subcontinent, and this is true not just of India, but it's true of the entire subcontinent, football is televised in a big way. The Premier League, you go to the Metro in Kolkata, and what do you see on the television station there? Old matches of the Premier League being endlessly shown. So it's a great advertisement for English football, or the Champions League is being shown. I mean, that's the reason why Argentina can go and play in Dhaka, because they know that Lionel Messi, perhaps the greatest player in the world today, is well known to the people there. They've seen them on their television sets.
Yeah, but coming back to politics, don't you think the timing is rather odd that when the Indian Prime Minister visits Bangladesh and on the same day, or probably within the same 24 hours, arrives the Argentinian team and the Nigerian team, and they're playing at their stadium, which is in the heart of the city.
But maybe Lionel Messi is a more popular person in Bangladesh and Dhaka than Manmohan Singh. I mean, you know, I know I don't wish to say, you know, to make fun of the Indian Prime Minister, but I think if both of them walked down the street, I think Lionel Messi would be recognized more easily than Manmohan Singh would be.
Probably yes, but probably Manmohan Singh can be more beneficial to Bangladesh than Lionel Messi.
That is true, but I think what we are witnessing here is a society at two layers. The people who are going to football are the rising middle class of that region, or the rising middle class of the subcontinent, and they have enough money to not worry about where the next meal is coming from. Right. They're looking for some enjoyment. Yep. Whereas what hopefully the talks between the two governments can do is solve the basic problems of poverty. Let's not forget the fact there are 400 million Indians who are quite well off, but 600 million Indians live on $2 a day. So India is still, if you like, a fat man inside a thin man trying to get out. You know, the whole body is still quite emaciated and thin.
Okay. I think there are 89 billionaires.
That may be true, but not everybody in India is getting a square meal. And that is the problem. So we have a situation that there is a big divide in the country between the well-off. The numbers are big, 400 million well-off Indians. If India would be, you know, almost the you know, a good part of the population of Western Europe, that would be a big factor. But if you have a country with a population of 1.2 billion, then what about the remaining 700 or 800 million? Right. Who's looking after them?
Well, it's the job of the politicians to devise the schemes and solve those problems, you see. But obviously, we media men cannot, we can only suggest and wish that. You wrote some time ago that foreign stars and their good or bad influence on English football. I mean, you had foreign managers and foreign footballers in your mind?
No, what has happened in English football is that the nature of English football has changed. English football has always been very competitive, you know, endless football, one end to the other. It's not like Italian football, which can be calculating, or Spanish football. You know, in English football, you're always something is happening. But in the old days, very few foreign players came to play in England. The English players went and played abroad. The Gary Linekers of the world went to play in Barcelona, or Paul Gascoigne went to play in Italy. Now, in the last few years, as a result of the Bosman ruling, which freed up the transfer system of Europe, and the money available, foreign players are coming in, and not just from Europe. They're coming in from Africa in very large numbers. You look around the English team, you know, there's players coming in from Eastern Europe. And at this point in time, England is struggling to field a team because many of the club sides don't even have one English qualified player. One must say, in the past, because Britain is a country which has 4 football nations, remember, England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, all the teams used to have perhaps a player from Scotland, perhaps a player from Wales. But these countries have declined. And now you have completely foreign players, you know, from Croatia, from Germany, from Africa, from, you know, Costa Rica, all parts of the world. It has become, if you like, football in this country has become like the international theatrical stage, like Shaftesbury Avenue, where all the players are there, you know. But the national team has suffered as a result.
Well, from Messi to back to Manmohan Singh again. I know he's not a good football player, but Bangladesh expects that this accord on sharing water. Of course, the Teesta river water sharing project is off, I understand, because of the objections raised by the Chief Minister of West Bengal. But hopefully we will achieve other agreements, and protocols will be signed, and MOUs, memorandum of understandings, will be signed. Do you think that this golden quadrilateral, that this BD, Bangladesh, India, Nepal and Bhutan, is it going to materialize and we are going to benefit from that?
That requires good leadership. And at the moment, I don't see that leadership. You mentioned West Bengal, or whatever it's going to be called now. It might be renamed by Paschim Bangla, by Mamata Banerjee. Now, she hasn't gone on this trip. Now, for the West Bengal Chief Minister not to be on this trip is a major blow. If you think about it, after all, which is the state in India that Bangladesh is most closely involved with? It must be West Bengal. So, if you like, even before the visit begins, it is a bit disabled in the sense of what it can achieve and who is there. And I think the problem here is that you have a problem that politicians come to power on the basis of their local agendas. I don't think they have a national agenda or an international agenda. And unless the politicians of this part of the world can lift their horizons and say that we can do much better by working together, then I'm not sure they could do it. Both Manmohan Singh and Sheikh Hasina face elections coming up, so they will try and and adjust them. In a way, this is to an extent the fault of democracy. We all love democracy, we're all in favor of democracy, but if you've got to go to the people and the polls, you often take positions which are helpful to win elections, but not good for the overall future of the country.
Sorry for the pun, but there are others who are saying that Mamata Banerjee is washing dirty linen in Teesta water. She's snubbing Manmohan Singh, but depriving Bangladesh, the closest neighbor, with the water that we deserve.
Well, I think she is discovering, having been a very successful opposition politician, she is discovering what it is to be in power. Opposition is easy. I've just been reading Tony Blair's memoirs, which I would recommend. Opposition is easy because you can make statements. In government, you have to serve, you have to fulfill those statements, and I think she's just discovering it, which often makes you take positions which are really just not tenable, but you take them in order to cover up for the fact that you cannot deliver on your promises.
Thank you very much. Mr. Mihir Bose, on this point, we beg leave of you. Thank you, viewers, for watching us today. In this episode of Viewpoint, we discussed Mr. Mihir Bose as a person, as a well-known journalist, a sports editor, an author, and we are looking forward to his new book in January 2012. And we also had the opportunity to discuss Manmohan Singh's visit, our expectations, our past, our present, and hopefully our future. We didn't have time to discuss our frustrations, but maybe one day we will. Thank you.